Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Princess Nessie. In case you're seeing me for the first time, on this channel I talk about business, education, and I talk about my lifestyle. So today I'm going to be giving you e-exam tips. E-exam tips, that's computer-based exam tips. The tips you need to be able to, scale through or write your e-exam without any difficulty. So number one tip I'm going to be giving you is that you have to understand that everybody may be given the same question, but the position of the questions are different. What I mean is this: you may have the same question with your classmate, but the position of the questions are different in the sense that your number one question may fall under number five question of your classmate. Your number two question may fall under number 10 question of your classmate. Same with the options. Same thing with the options. So your option A may fall under option D of your classmate. Your option B may fall under option C of your classmate. So don't go into the exam hall with the mindset that you're going to be given the same questions, or your questions are going to fall under the same number. No, that is number one tip. The second tip is that your questions are combination of objective and subobjective. Subobjective is filling the gap. So you have 50% of objectives, that's questions with options, option A to D, and 50% of subobjective, questions that has filling the gap. So that is the next tip. And you should know that the ratio of the objective and filling the gap depends on the number of questions you're answering and the course you're offering. It depends on the course you're writing the exam at that particular time. So it will determine, the course you're writing will determine the number of objectives you're going to get and the number of sub-objectives you're going to get. Most times, some of the objective questions have been repeated in the filling the gap questions. Do you get me? So that is why it's advisable that you first solve the questions with options first before you go into the filling the gap, because when you come to the filling the gap, you may now realize that you've already answered this question in the objective. So what you just need to do is you just copy and paste, like you just transfer the answer from the objective to the filling the gap. So it's advisable you first of all answer all the questions with objectives, all the questions with options, option A to D. You first answer them before you answer the filling the gap questions, before you start answering the filling the gap questions, because along the line you may realize that that filling the gap question you're about to answer has already been answered in your objective, in the question that has options. So what you just need to do is to transfer the answer from the objective to the filling the gap. Hope that is cleared. You have to understand that all the courses carry 70 or 100 questions depending on the credit unit of the course. I think for 2 credit units you have 70 questions. Then for 3 credit units you have 100 questions, and it's going to be divided, and each question carries 2 marks. Each question is allocated 2 marks each. And you have to understand that the timer starts counting or starts reading immediately you log into your page or into your portal. The exam timer starts counting. So it's advisable you don't spend too much time on a particular question. Make sure you first solve all the questions you're familiar with, all the questions you know, before coming back to the ones you don't know. Don't dwell so much on the questions you don't know in order not to exhaust time unnecessarily. So first answer all the questions you're familiar with, all the questions you know, before you can come back to the ones you don't know to solve them. So for those who may be writing e-exam for the first time, just know that the questions comes in batch or in sets. So you have the first set of questions displayed on the screen. After answering those ones, you click on next for you to be able to see the next set of questions. Or if you want to go back to cross-check, you click on previous to be able to go back to the next set of questions and make your corrections. So don't just solve the first one you're seeing on the screen and you think that's the end and you leave the hall. No, make sure after solving the first set of questions you see on your screen, you click on next for you to be able to go to the next questions, and make sure you solve them and be conscious of your time. As you're solving them, you're conscious of your time. So as you're solving your questions, beside your computer, you will see the answers, the ones you've answered on a tabular form. You're going to see the numbers of your questions on a tabular form by the right hand side of your computer. You're going to see it. So if there are questions you've answered, it will be shaded, the boxes will be shaded, and the ones you've not answered will be left blank. So from there, you know the ones you've not answered and the ones you've answered. So once you look at the right hand side of your computer, you will see boxes from one. If your question is from 1 to 70, you see boxes from 1 to 70. If your questions are from 1 to 100, you see boxes from 1 to 100. So any one that is shaded, you know that's the one you've solved already. And anyone that is not shaded, that is blank, you know that's the one you've not solved. So you can easily click on that one and it will take you straight to the answer. Sorry, to take you straight to the question. Once what I mean is this: once you want to know the questions you've answered, since all the questions are not going to appear at once on the system, but you need something to keep you in check to for you to be able to know the ones you've answered and the ones you've not answered. So once you look at that box, those boxes there, anyone that is shaded, you know that those are the ones you've already answered, but the blank ones are the ones you've not answered. So if you want to go back to, let's say you're on page 25 to 30 and you want to go back to page 1 to 5, what you just do is on those boxes you click on number 1. Once you click on number 1, it will take you to the first page and you go there and you answer the ones you've not answered. So that is how you just go straight to the page you want to answer without having to scroll back and forth, thereby exhausting time or consuming time. So you just click on that box and it will take you straight to the page you want to go and sort out. So just know that the timer will stop immediately you log out of the system, and it will continue from where you stopped once you log into this system, but the questions will be scattered. They won't be arranged as they were before. They will be scattered. And after your exam, after writing your exam, make sure you log out. Make sure you log out and do well to be very fast. Make sure you're very fast so you can be able to catch up with time and submit by yourself. Do not allow the system to log you out. Once the system logs you out, you may not be able to see your score. So, but once you submit your question by yourself, you'll be able to see your score and know what you have for that particular exam. What I'm about to say now may sound funny, but that's the fact. Make sure you engage the power of prayer. Make sure you engage the power of prayer. As we all know that the spiritual controls the physical. Yes, you may prepare, you may read very well, prepare very well, but getting to the exam hall, something else happens. I wouldn't want to talk about what happened in my last exam, but make sure you engage in the power of prayer, because you may get to the exam hall and the system starts messing up, the power supply starts messing up or whatever. But make sure you engage in the power of prayer. Is very important. That is the most important tip for this e-exam tips. Please take note that the management has made sure to mitigate impersonation, thereby making sure that every student's picture or passport is displayed on their profile before starting exam. So make sure that your picture or your passport is displayed on your profile. That is what shows that you are the original or the main person for that profile. That is your profile. That is what shows that that is your profile. So make sure that your picture or your passport is displayed on your page. When registering, make sure that whoever that is registering for you this imputes your passport, so that during exam it can display, in order for you not to be sent out of the hall, for you not to be deprived of your exam, because once that is not displayed, it is concluded that you're not the owner of that portal. And the reason why that is displayed is so no other person can be able to write for another person. Do you get me? So make sure when registering, you tell the person who is registering you, or as you're registering, make sure you try to put your passport so that during exam, your passport can display on the screen. So know that before you log into the e-exam portal, you'll be required to enter your password and your login, that's your login details. You'll be required to log in with your login details. So do well to come with your exam clearance slip, your registration, course registration slip, and your ID card. You can print your ID card in plastic or paper form, whichever one. So make sure you come with these three things so that even if you forget your login details, you can easily look at your ID card or your exam slip to get your matriculation number. And know that your login, that's your username, and your password is your matriculation number. Your username and your password is always your matriculation number, and they are all started in small letter. The NOU comes before the digits. The NOU comes before the digits, and the NOU is in capital, sorry, in small letter. The NOU is in small letter for the username. For the password, the NOU is in small letter. So do well to come with your exam registration slip, your clearance, your course clearance, your course registration slip, and your ID card, so that even if you forget your matriculation number, I'm talking about new student, because all students ought to have crammed or know their matriculation number by now. So even if you've forgotten it, you can easily look at your ID card. So okay, so let me give you some tips or some bonus tips. I want to tell you some key words you're going to be seeing on the system. First, you're going to see next. Once you see next, you know that it's talking about going to the next page. When you see previous, it's talking about going to the previous page. When you see logout, it means to log out. Now, for you to log out, you have to check up on your system. You see something that looks like someone's head. You see something that looks like someone's head. Once you click on it, you're going to see it will bring out options. So when it brings out options, below it you see logout. You click on logout. It means you're logging out of, you're through with your exam, you're logging out of the system. There's another one you see submit. Once you see submit, it means to submit all your questions. You click on submit and it will submit all your questions. So it's advisable that after submitting, once the system brings out your score, you copy it out and write it down somewhere so you can be able to compare it with the comprehensive question the school is going to bring out at the end of every exam. So once the school brings out their comprehensive result, you compare it with the score you already saw on the system. That is how I do my own, for you to be able to make sure you're giving the right score. So make sure you type in the correct answers and use the correct spellings. Note that the system, the answers have been programmed by the system. It's not human being that is marking this now. It is the computer that is marking it. The system is the one marking it. So the answers have been programmed the way they are meant to appear on the system, or the way they are supposed to be answered. So make sure you answer correctly and you spell correctly. Most times why people fail e-exam is because it's not because they don't know the answer, but because they did not spell the answers correctly, or they didn't impute the answers the way it is in the course material. So make sure if you're reading for your e-exam, you read word to word. You read word to word, unlike the POP where you can just read and write with your own understanding or in your own understanding. Your e-exam, you read word to word, and the way it is in the course material, that is how you expected to write it or to type it in the system. So make sure you type in your questions the way it is in the course material and you spell correctly. You spell correctly. So note that it is advisable to always start your noun questions with capital letter. Every answer that appears to be a noun, you know what noun is. I'm not talking about the school now, I'm talking about noun. Any answer that appears to be noun, you know what noun is. The noun is the name of a person, animal, place, or thing. So any answer that appears to be a noun, irrespective of where the answer is appearing, whether in the beginning of the sentence, middle of the sentence, or at the end of the sentence, make sure you start it with capital letter. Reason is this: the computer has been programmed that this question is going to start, sorry, this answer is going to start in capital letter. So when you answer, or when you answer, yes, when you answer, it's starting with small letter, not minding that you got the answer correctly, but you didn't get the format, you didn't get the way you're supposed to have typed it. The system will mark it wrong for you. So make sure that every answer that is a noun starts in capital letter. Hope that's well understood. It starts with capital letter, irrespective of where the answer is going to be, whether at the beginning of the question, middle of the question, at the end of the question. Make sure it starts with capital letter. Another tip is this: if your answer is going to start at the beginning of the sentence, please make sure the first letter is in capital letter. Make sure the first letter is in capital letter, whether it is noun, pronoun, or not. Make sure it starts with capital letter. Once it is beginning the sentence, make sure it starts with capital letter. Now, another one is this: the answer, if apart from any answer that is noun, any other answer that is not noun, once it's not beginning the sentence, please make sure everything is in small letter. Once it is not beginning the sentence, make sure it is in small letter. If it falls in the middle of the question, or at the end of the question, make sure everything is written in, is typed in small letter, apart from every answer that is noun, or every answer that is beginning the sentence. But if it is in the middle of this question, or end of this question, please make sure everything is typed in small letter. Now, when writing the full meaning of any abbreviation or acronyms, make sure the first letter starts in capital letter. Make sure the first letter starts in capital letter. What do I mean? For example, if you have something like IMF, you're asked to, type in the full meaning of IMF. When, let's say, let's just forge an answer. Let's say IMF means International Money Fund, something like that. Let's just form something like that. So international, I is going to be in capital letter. Money, M is going to be in capital letter. Fund, F is going to be in capital letter. So that's what I mean. Any acronym or any abbreviation is going to start in capital letter for each of the acronyms. You're going to start them in capital letter. So for every true or false question, for every true or false question, make sure you answer it um, same way the question is being given to you. Let it be similar to the question being given to you. This is what I mean. If, for example, your true, the true started with capital letter but other small letter, make sure if you're answering, if the answer is true and you're typing in the true, make sure it starts with capital letter. Now, if the whole answer is in capital letter, the question they give to you, the true or false, is in capital letter throughout. When answering, make sure the whole true is in capital letter. The whole answer is in capital letter. If your answer is true, make sure everything is in capital letter. If your answer is false, make sure everything is in capital letter. So, reason being that I've said it before, this questions or answers have been programmed that this is how it is going to be answered. So when you answer anything outside of what has been programmed, you fail it. You will end up failing it. So make sure that everything you see on the system, you adhere to it, you follow due procedures. If you're able to follow all these tips I've given to you, I don't see any reason why you fail your exam. Most times students don't fail e-exam because they didn't read. No, it's not because they didn't read, or it's not because they didn't prepare well. In fact, 90% of students prepare very well for their e-exams but end up failing massively. Why? Because they didn't follow these tips that I've listed here. So make sure you follow all these tips and you won't fail your e-exam. You will get your e-exam. So if this video has been very helpful to you, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Do not forget to turn on your notification bell, and do not forget to give this video a thumbs up so YouTube can um give this video or make this video appear to everyone who has similar problem related to this video. Till I come your way next time, do have a wonderful exam period. Do have a wonderful week. Stay blessed. Bye bye, and see you in my next video.